Hello, I am content creator Yvonne Redden, and today I'm going to be chatting with Luke Corcoran. And Luke is, I'm going to just read your Instagram title because it's quite a variety there, Luke.
No
So
problem.
we have writer, playwright, director, actor, filmmaker, dreamer, psychotherapy, and mental health advocate. I mean, that's some title, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I don't know if the title is what do I say? Like, it's a lot of people. I think they identify with one thing, or
Yeah,
they say they're a writer, and then their self worth is kind of based on whether their writing is going well or bad. So I say to people, like, I'm not any of those things. It's just easier for Instagram to kind of filter through. But
yeah,
I'm Luke, and these are things I enjoy.
yeah.
These are things I would spend my life doing. Um, So I think that's important. That's probably the psychotherapy aspect of it
Yeah.
coming through there.
But can you tell people a bit of, and me as well, about your background, please, if you don't mind?
Yeah, so I trained I started off in the Gaiety School of Acting, and I absolutely loved it. I was doing a lot of MMA at the time and martial arts and stuff I did since I was a kid. Like my whole family, we're all Irish champions, like my brothers and myself. And then I went into an acting class and was like pretended to be a tree. And I was like, this is the most
Like
fun
when
I've
you were a
had.
kid, yeah.
I'm not even a kid. I think it was 30. I was like, this is the most fun I've ever had in years. And I'm like, I'm never going back. So I started, just went fully into the acting realm.
Yeah.
And after the acting, then I went from the Gaiety School of Acting to the Irish Film Academy with Rachel Sarah Murphy. And then I went to Momentum Acting Studios where I learned the Meisner technique, which was fascinating. I did that for
Yes.
years. For I don't know how long I did it for, but you can drop in and out of classes like a really, really good, strong training. And then I was the lead in a feature film called Follow the Dead. And I thought it was going to be the next Colin Farrell. And I was like, yes, this is it now. That's my career skyrocketing. And I said to
It's never
Adam,
too late, Luke. You never know.
well, yeah, we never know. And I said to Adam, the director, I was like, this is great. When is this out? And he's like, oh man, I ran out of money. This is going to take years to
Oh,
finish. And I was like,
Jesus,
oh,
no.
fantastic. So
Yeah,
then I started, because of that, I said, right, I want to get more experience acting. Why don't I just write some things and cast myself in them?
mm,
Kind of skip up the ladder a bit. So I did. I did a play, and it called the series of plays Purgatory Archaic. So we had like four short plays. I got a lot of actors together to read them. They loved the plays, and we put them on in the International Bar where Conor McPherson had his debut, I think, there. I read in one of his books. And yeah, it just went from there. I was like, oh, I can actually write because I was in front of an audience.
yeah,
Immediate feedback. You know if a play is working or not.
yeah.
And like I never direct myself, but I directed the others and someone else. Luke Collins is his name. He directed me. He was great. And then I just did more and more of that, and we did like 12 short plays, and we toured them around the country, down in Cork, Kerry, Waterford, and Dublin.
Yeah.
And this is all private, like this is where I really learned to write. And then after that, one of my plays made its way somehow to the late great Brendan Grace, and I'm a huge big fan of his. I always
Oh,
did love him
yeah.
as a kid, even. And he wanted to meet me to see if I could write his story, his film idea he had for 30 years in his head.
Yeah.
So I met him down in Kerry through a mutual friend of ours, Damien O'Callaghan, there of OC Productions. We weren't really friends at the time. We were more business colleagues, but it's grown since then. And
Mm.
I met Brendan for 2 days, and he spoke to me about his idea, and I just listened, and I said what I thought about the story or where the story could go from. And from there, he hired me. That was my first screenplay that I ever wrote. Was called The Spirit of Patrick. It's I don't even know if I can give much away. Like he just approved it. I think a week before he passed, he
Oh,
said, "Yeah, that's the draft. That's the draft to go with to make the movie."
yeah. And it never got any further.
It never got any further, no. But since then, because that was my first screenplay, like commissioned screenplay, I've written six since then and been commissioned for four. So I'm doing all right, and we've went
You
and
are.
made two actually as
Mm.
well.
That's amazing because our connection is from a mutual friend, Sean Kelly from Waterford too. You're in
Yes,
Waterford. I'd just say that you're based in Waterford as well. Sean is a gentleman, isn't he? He's a character.
absolutely.
And we connected completely straight away. He was sent to me to promote his book and market and help him with Twitter and social media, which we did. And we had a great
Yeah,
time together. And then you took that Dog Sitter Fair book
yeah,
and did something with that. Can we say that?
yeah. No, you absolutely can. Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
the script is in a good form at the minute. I like Sean got in touch with me because I was doing my plays, and this maybe is for people listening that are starting off, either as a playwright or filmmaker or anything really.
Yeah.
It's about getting your work out there.
Mm.
It took me a while, like to realize in this industry. I'll go into a little preamble because I think this is an important preamble.
Yeah.
When I was into judo, like it was very obviously, start off a white belt, and it's yellow belt, orange belt, etc. And even working in insurance and in a full time job, you come in entry level, and you work your way up,
Yeah.
work your way up. It doesn't work like that in the film industry at all, at all. So it can be very frustrating if you're very stairway minded,
Right.
thinking you'll be rewarded for your
Mm.
hard work. Indeed, it is hard work, but it's just not how it works. What you have to do is put a project out there. Just keep doing art. If you want to be an actor, act loads. If you want to be a writer, write loads. But make sure people see your work.
Yeah.
And then what that is what happens, because every time you have a project, it's like the Roombas, the little robot Roombas, they're circles and they hoover for you.
Yes.
So yeah, so you go off doing your thing, and at home the robot is doing its thing for you. It's working for you.
Mm.
So that's essentially what all your projects are doing. Like all my short plays were seen by a lot of people. I made sure of that to get as many as I could in. The connection with Damien down the country got me to Brendan Grace, and then that's how I met Sean. Was from one of my plays.
Mm.
Liam Murphy in the Munster Express reviewed it, and they know each other.
Oh,
And
yes.
Sean,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
Sean was saying that he wanted to get into filmmaking, and Liam says, "Talk to Luke Corcoran,"
Mm.
and indeed he did.
It's
So
just
that was
amazing the networking, the power of networking and connection. And look at us,
yeah,
you're Waterford, I'm Dublin. There's still ways around connecting with people. Zoom
absolutely yeah.
Zoom has been fantastic. I'm not fed up with it yet. Lots of people are zoomed out of it, but it's like you can speak to anybody, and that's the power of
Mm.
connection. And you don't
But
know who's going to watch, who's going to see, who's going to learn, and that's what these series are all about, isn't it? Expanding
yeah,
that audience.
oh definitely, and also but the
Mm.
more the more you do your work and get to meet people, the more
Yeah.
people you meet, and
Yeah.
then the bigger your Roombas grow, if you know what I mean. They're very
Yeah.
big. So with the Dogs to the Fair, he got in touch with me New Year's Eve, not last one, but the one before, I
Yeah.
think. And I was like, okay, this sounds promising. And then I read the book, and I read it in 2 days. Like I'm a fast reader, and I was like, okay, yeah, we can make this into a script, no problem. But it's a big change. They're two different mediums
Completely
completely.
different writing. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's so
one's
different, isn't it?
one's one's more visual,
Yeah.
and then that's from Sean's inner world comes that script, and then from my inner world, through that
Yeah.
inner world comes the film script. And at the minute, it's a Dogs of the Fair is it's a really good story. I think it's very entertaining. If you imagine James Bond,
Yeah.
married, let's say an average Irish woman, although there's no such thing as an average person, but he marries an average Irish woman who's a dog sitter, and he dies in an assassination attempt or a helicopter crash,
And
and
then
she
minding the
finds out.
house.
Yeah, and she finds out all the passports in the house and everything and all the gadgets and stuff, and then she has to go solve the mystery.
Yeah.
That's essentially the film, So it's a
Did
comedy.
Sean write the script, Luke, or did you have to get someone else to write a script?
I wrote the script.
You
What are you
wrote the
talking about?
script.
I wrote
Well,
it.
there you go.
No,
You are that tree with all these different branches, aren't you? You can do a bit of everything.
well,
That makes a big
yeah,
difference in your career, doesn't it?
it absolutely does. You got to take control of
Yeah.
it, yeah. So I wrote the script. Um, that's ready to go. It's very expensive to make. Helicopters are expensive to get at
Mm.
the moment.
And a
With
James
inflation.
Bond actor. Who have you got? Who have you got standing? Can you tell?
I'd love to get anyone involved. Like, my
Well,
God.
maybe you do that yourself as well, Luke, will you?
Well, what I'll do is I'll bring that to Screen Ireland, and I'll say, hey,
Yeah.
if when we finish these two films we got Poppy Loftus, which is a comedy horror. It's about a haunted doll who terrorizes a grieving mother and daughter, and it's a comedy. And
Okay.
we've got Tuesday Traders, which is
Yeah.
another novel of Sean's, it's a revenge story, and we shot that, and it really upped the production value and the ante, and we had the likes of Ciara O'Callaghan. She's in Harry Wild at the minute. She was in Fair City for years back in the day. Alan Devine, who was in
Yeah.
Veronica Guerin. I have Mela Karen, who was in Brooklyn. Like the casting agents that we had, Celine Mullen's casting was fantastic, and the interest was huge. The
Yeah.
interest was huge in this film. So I must be doing something right, or the team is definitely doing something right.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm just looking forward to the next one. I'm looking forward to finishing these two. It's just a lot of work in post production. You've no
Yeah.
idea.
You've finished all the filming. It's just all the post production now, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Man, you're talking like every single second of
Yeah.
the film has to be accounted for. Every single sound as well. But
Yeah.
I've got really good people working on it. It's just that the bigger companies would have post production houses who are working on it probably immediately after day one.
Yeah.
But you're talking like huge money if you want to hire one of them, you know. So
Yeah.
we're doing what we can at the independent level for now
Oh,
before we go.
your name is known, that's for sure. And your company, you've got a company you set up this year as well called Big Bay Entertainment. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah, that's right. So Big Bay Entertainment is Ireland's newest production company. It's yeah, we'll do the likes of screenwriting, films. We mostly want to get into films. We've a short film in a couple of festivals now, in Waterford Film Festival and Underground Film Festival. It's called Down to You, and it's an experimental music piece.
Yeah.
And yeah, we've plenty more coming on tracks. You got theatre, plays. See, when I was talking to my business partner, he was saying we call it productions, and I said no, call it entertainment, because
Yeah.
productions, it seems more small, you're more contained. But if you say
Yeah.
entertainment, it could be anything.
It can
You
be
know,
a
it could
bit
be
of everything. Exactly.
yeah.
And is there a website for that, Luke, yet, or is it still in the process?
Not at the minute. I think
Yeah.
we're gonna just come out with when the films are done, we're gonna blast it out
Yeah. Social
everywhere.
media. Yeah.
Yeah, everything like that. Yeah, absolutely.
That's great. And are you working on now? Is it all just post production, which is not just it's a lot, I know, by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
And have you got
Well,
any
I was
other projects coming up?
yeah. I mean, I was a resident. I was a artist in residence for Garter Lane here in Waterford last month, and I had a rehearsed reading of one of my plays that I've got to put on. I am working on something at the minute. I'm writing. I'm always working on something. You have to be. I think
Mm.
otherwise, I get the what do you call them? The post show blues. You
Yeah.
know, like after you've done a project and you're like, oh God, I've nothing to work on now.
I'm a bit like that
So
as well. People say to me, "Do you actually sleep?" And I said, "Yeah, sometimes. I get as much as I can." You sound a bit like that as well, that you just keep going, going, going. I'm
yeah,
afraid to stop in case that momentum goes, that way. You probably understand that.
I do understand that, yeah, but I think once you get going, you're going. You
Yeah,
know, I'm working on a new script that I'd love to shoot. It's called Millennial Prophet. If you imagine it, a Jordan Peterson type, or what's the other guy's name? Tony Robbins,
yeah,
but they're Irish and they're very successful. And it's based on two phrases really. If you're so zen, spend the weekend with your dysfunctional family, or a prophet is never recognized in their hometown.
yeah,
So and the way I'm going to shoot it is because I love theater, acting wise, and I love film as well. So I'm going to do like a Dante's Inferno, journey through hell. So it's going to be 9-10 minute scenes. It's going to be 90 minutes. Great, a film. And that means there's nice long takes for the actors to develop in each scene. There's a nice story to be told every time, and it's very clear
yeah.
acts, 5 acts basically within each
That's nice for a
scene.
change because you're the concentration as well. That's good.
Mm.
Tell me, have you got a favorite movie of all time?
No, I
There's
don't.
too many, isn't there? Is there
There's
anything that
far too
pops in your
many.
head that you always remember, even when you were a kid, or anything that you just looked at that and went, "That I'd love to do something like that"? Or
Yeah, well, I walked out of Dune recently, and it was like one day I'll be involved in a project like that. Like it was just,
oh, yeah,
yeah,
it's
incredible
incredible, isn't it?
cinematography. Yeah, but one that maybe inspired me was, the Lord of the Rings box sets. You got the
Yeah,
editions, and then they had the making of and the Weta workshops. What they were doing, and the attention to detail they put into the chainmail and everything on each orc. I was like, my God, this is incredible. I never thought I'd enjoy working in a film or anything like that. But then when I saw that when I was younger, I was like, wow, I'd love to work in film. And
that's really
now
interesting.
here I
I
am.
mean, oh, they were amazing, weren't they? Come here,
Yeah.
tell people whereabouts would you be more visible? I mean, I know Instagram. Is there any other platforms?
Yeah, Instagram or Facebook.
Yeah,
Honestly, just send the old request there. I do most of my stuff on Facebook. I'm trying to do both,
yeah.
but it can be a bit finicky, like, and then you don't want to spend too much time on social media because it'll drive you insane. It's
And
a
it's
time suck.
easy. It takes up too much time. You know, you need someone
Yeah.
like myself that does your social media for you because it does take a lot of time.
Mm.
To focus so you can focus on other things. I think just outsource it to someone else. That's the trick, isn't it?
Yeah, Grant, are you putting your name into the hat then, are you?
Ah,
Yvonne, we
sure,
might
why
hire
not?
you.
Look, I might as well drop that in there. Why not?
Might as well.
If you're looking for someone, you know who to go, you know who to call. But I won't. I'm going to keep this nice and short because, and then put it in links into the post to yourself and to Big Bay Entertainment. Thanks a million for your time and for chatting me today, Luke. I really appreciate
No
it.
problem. Thank you, Yvonne. Thanks a million and all the best. I love the series, so keep
Uh,
going.
thanks, Luke. Take care. Bye.
Bye.